Dr. Peacock, we are so blessed and lucky to have this gentleman here with us because he is a change agent.
He is, yes.
He is also a history maker, and personally, being born and raised here in Las Vegas, I've waited on this opportune time for someone, African American, to own a major strip hotel on the strip.
Amen. No.
The most famous desert in the world is about to blow your mind again. But this time, we're changing the game. The exclusive club of owners on the Las Vegas Strip will soon make room at their table, not just for a new owner, but a self-made man from Inglewood, California, a world champion. The time has come for the first world-class resort of its kind on the Las Vegas Strip. Welcome to All Net Resort and Arena. 2 luxury hotels, a breathtaking 3,000-seat dinner showroom, an entertainment and sports arena under an unmatched retractable roof. All Net Resort and Arena will be the world's sporting event destination with something for everyone. From premier luxury suites to breathtaking designed rooms for the value-minded guests. You'll be steps away from your favorite entertainment event. Or treat yourself at one of our exclusive retail shops. Enjoy our spectacular rooftop dining, 5-star luxury spa, and lavish infinity pools and cabanas in a tropical setting. It's a resort for tomorrow's lifestyle today, using advanced technology to provide patrons with a curated, personalized experience throughout their stay. We're combining your favorite sporting events with your favorite entertainment to provide you with an unforgettable experience. All Net Resort and Arena is a revolutionary, non-gaming, business, and family-friendly destination with something for everyone.
Hi, I'm Jackie Robinson. In 1979, I became an NBA champion. Come join me on this journey as I get ready to do it again.
All Net Resort and Arena, a world-class sporting and entertainment destination for all.
Now we have something that people like me dreamed about. Growing up here in town, and then what's so amazing is I've been knowing Mr. Robinson ever since he was a freshman at UNLV. And at UNLV, I mean, this guy, he's just had a blessed life. He was top 10 scorer. He was in the top 10 scorers of UNLV's history and the top 10 rebounders. So, and back in the day when they were breaking all the records without the three-point play.
There you go.
They were scoring, man. That was the real Running Rebels, part of the Hardway 8. They called them the Hardway 8, man. You know, it was when we would go, and I had the privilege of playing with 5 of the freshmen, and he and Jackie and I, Tark put seniors and freshmen together.
Oh, okay.
You know, and I was trying to be a mentor to him, but maybe I
want to hear about this.
No, you don't want to hear.
Okay,
no, you don't want to hear.
Another time.
Don't bring that up. But you know how you're young. But I was supposed to be a senior trying to teach him the right way. But we won't go into that. We're here to talk about Mr. Robinson.
Yes, go for that. Yes.
Not about me. Don't try to indict me for anything. But I tell you what, it has just been an honor and a privilege for me to have been a friend of Jackie's, and how hard a work ethic is what I want to talk about with
Business
Robinson.
entrepreneur, big time. I'll never forget back in the early '80s, Mr. Robinson and Joel
Yep.
came to my office there on new innovative programs for veterans
Yep.
and the other
Tax credits. Yep.
Yes. No, that's how far back we go. But
So he, as I said, he's a change agent. And one of the things that I never asked Jackie,
asking.
were you named after Jackie Robinson?
Yeah, I was. Matter of fact, it's coincidence you're saying that because I just buried my my godmother on this past Friday, and so she had absolutely her daughters had absolutely put in an envelope, and so she had written to me, and she knew she was going to pass. She wrote it in June, and so she wrote because she named me how it came about. And so she had said that they brought me home from the hospital, and for 5 days I didn't have a name. And she said the caseworker was coming over because we were poor in the inner city, and my mother had the caseworker.
Music background there, no worries.
Yeah, sorry. Had the caseworker, and they came over, and what they did was that she had. Excuse me, I just wanted to turn this off. And so they said you have to give him a name, So she at first said she thought about what type of name, and so she said she came up with, now in 1955, Jackie Robinson won his only World Series, and so she came up with the name of Jackie Robinson. And
Bless
said
her.
that, and so I said, well, what was the reason? She said, well, because, he was a famous person, but she said that it meant hope. And so she named me Jackie, and so it's just ironic you're saying that because we just buried her, this past Friday.
And Jackie Robinson, you lived up to that name, and you've taken it further because Jackie Robinson was a change agent.
The major change.
Major, and we're about to talk about the major changes historically that's going to happen for the state of Nevada. I can't wait. I've seen the property. I think I sent you some information on it.
I went online and saw it's online. So we'll talk about it.
We're going to be showing this to the audience. I want you to do is just kind of walk us through how you got this idea to open up a hotel. How did you come to this the name of the hotel, which I want you to share with our audience?
Sure. Well, I think, Lonnie, first of all, it's a pleasure. You guys said it's a pleasure to me. It's a pleasure. Both of you guys have been trailblazers here in Las Vegas. And, Lonnie, I've known you forever since I've been a freshman and admired what you've done and all the great things you've done for the Alumni Association and putting kids through college and everything else.
Yes.
So I plenty admire you. And then also, Mr. Peacock, my first business, I came into your office and was looking to do tax credits and things like this, whatever, and we went on to be very successful. That was my first business, and we had contracts with every hotel on the Las Vegas Strip.
Yes.
And we opened all of them, and we competed against Arthur Anderson and Deloitte & Touche.
The biggies, the big ones.
And we became the largest administrator in the United States after that, and that was my first business. But, over a process, over a period of time, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and so it kind of evolved into a situation in which we had that project that became successful, and then also we went in and I got my construction license up under Tony Marnell and learned construction and then also purchasing. And then I spent a lot of time with Steve Wynn, and for whatever reason he took me up under his arm, and I went through the whole process of watching him for the development process and things like that, how to finance and everything else, whatever. Spent just numerous days and hours with him. And also what we did is we became the first group to be able to get into the airport. Spent a lot of time working and pushing that situation and came in there and got there. And I'm happy to say that there are so many different other groups now, minority groups that's in the airport, because of that process, because prior to that, there was no...
You opened up the door for us.
Yeah.
When it was several, but go ahead.
So we were able to do that. We're very proud of that we were able to do that. And then, it was a it was a process that we were going through, for me anyway, because I was always looking for a goal, but it's a step process you have to go through. There's no way that you can come in and say that I'm going to come in today and say I'm going to open up a $4.2 billion project. It's got to be a process that you go through. So I also while I was working and doing the other things, I also worked for 7.5 years in the Aladdin Hotel. So when I was there, I was a manager, and we ran the showroom, the theater performing arts, and then also the jazz club. So I got a chance to sit in on operation meetings and understand on the inside. So from coming in and getting my construction license, working on operations, sitting with Steve, and then afterwards we bought all of the Pizza Huts in San Diego, and that was 4,000. The people that we had working for us in that situation. So now you get into, that's the size of a hotel.
That's right. Yes.
And so being able to go through that process over many years, I think Governor Bob Miller was the first one that said, Jackie, would you like to come in and do something that we would like to have some minority participation on Las Vegas Strip? We don't have any. At the time, I wasn't really ready, and then one thing I didn't want to do, I didn't want to get in gaming, and so speeding up a couple of years after that, some people came to me with some great ideas, and so we said, listen, we want to come in and start the process, and then we ran into the what do you want to call it, the 2008 surprise where everything crashed.
Exactly. Yes.
So we went through that process, and then after that, I became a member of the Department of Commerce,
the state,
the MBDA.
Okay, got
MBDA. But what I did was that knowing that I wanted to do a project this large, I knew that I needed to be, near Washington D.C. and New York. And when you do the Department of Commerce, the way they have it set up is 4 different regions, and we're on the West Coast region. And I talked to a gentleman by the name of Hayward Davenport. Hayward Davenport was a gentleman that was back when doing civil rights and worked in. He's a legend that's not talked about by a lot, but he was a head of the region. And I said, Hayward, I said, the only way I can be able to be successful and get this thing done is that I have to be written in up under the East Coast, so I can be up under the umbrella of Washington D.C. and New York.
Okay.
Because that's center of finance and power. And he said, Jackie, we never have done that before. And I said, well, this won't happen. I said, because it just won't happen on the West Coast. If you look at it from a minority standpoint, east of the Mississippi, you have a lot of African-American mayors because the majority of the population of African Americans is on the East Coast.
East Coast makes sense.
When you start going west, it's more the entertainment aspect, and you don't have that. So there's more mandates, and there are more things that's brought up and put in for minorities to get into entrepreneurship. So
on the East Coast.
On the East Coast. And so I told him that needed to change and had to be done. And so for the first time in the history of the MBDA Department of Commerce, they registered me up under the East Coast, and I became a client of the East Coast.
Oh, that's
back in Washington, D.C. Now, what that meant was that I was able to come back and be able to come and present directly to the Department of Commerce in their office in 2011.
In Las Vegas, or no, where, L.A.?
No, the Department of Commerce in Washington, D.C.
Still Washington,
Yeah, Washington,
yes.
D.C.
Okay.
Because, again, I'm going in now to the Commerce office now instead of going into some local office. That
Makes sense.
Because the farther you get west,
yes,
the less
that's-
power
no,
that there
it makes
is when you
sense.
start talking about that. And what they did was that the ironic thing that they did was that besides, I got a chance to go in and I already knew Senator Reid. We talked. They brought me to see him. We talked about old times and other things. I went into the Ways and Means Committee and started talking about how finance generates there and goes to the Treasury. And
What an education.
Yeah. And so I was there for a total of 3 months and away from home. I then went to spend 2 weeks at the World Bank, and they brought me in, and I was there for getting an education on how international financing works, not from somebody saying it, but from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
I had to take classes for like 4 hours every day. Just myself and a pencil and paper was there, and got a chance to go through a lot of the process, understanding how finance works. And then after that, I spent 2 months on Wall Street, and so I went to all the different firms going back and forth on financing. So that 90 days maturation, when I came out of there, had a good understanding how finance works, how things work, because that's the key. Because from an African American standpoint, that is the things that hold us back. It's not the creativity or can be able to do.
You can do all that, the finance.
It's the financing aspect. So once I came out of there, I understood financing. I had a good maturation with Steve Wynn on developing. I had been in operations. I got my construction license and purchasing license with Tony. So full circle came in, and I felt I was ready to do so. And so we came back and started comprising, putting these things together and understanding that. And I went back and spent a lot of time with Steve talking about how he did his financing. And matter of fact, when he did his financing in the Desert Inn Hotel, I was from myself to Lonnie. For whatever reason, he was there, and I was sitting there, and he was standing up, and I was sitting down when he made his first offer to his partner, who was a Japanese gentleman at the time, on them putting together the deal. And so Steve had put together his deals by bonds and doing bonds. And
This is Michael Milken involved at all? Did you? No.
No,
you didn't run into him. Yeah.
No, but I understood that from a debt standpoint, what needed to be done because of type of financing is when you're doing large projects, the best and easiest way is to do it is by bonds. And so we had, long story short, getting over to the process of where we were from a development standpoint, after I decided to go forward and move forward, we started to put together something. I didn't want to have gaming. I just didn't want to do gaming. And what I had another gentleman who I worked with, and one of the things he said, Jackie, is that if you want to be successful and put anything together, solve problems. So what are the problems that we have here in Las Vegas? What type of project can we put? We can't just do the same thing over and over again. So we sought out to be able to go and put them together, non-gaming entity. We thought it was going to be nonsense to be able to go in and have.
That's different.
Yeah. One property and then trying to compete with all the rest of the properties on the Las Vegas Strip for the same guys. You know, I've been here for a long time, and one of the things that I knew and saw is that when I was coming up through college, you would have a person that come in and they would be at a hotel. Back in those days, they would always come back to that hotel, and they had their groups that they were there. And
Exactly.
now, you have people to come in, and one day they're at the Wynn, one day they're at the Caesar's Palace. Whoever's giving in the most goodies, and you're fighting over the same guy. So we said that's not going to work, trying to compete and come in this market to do this. So what we looked at is the future. The future of Las Vegas is two things: it's events, and it is conventions. So one of the things we said we'd have a leg up on is if we could come in and build a project that was more convention oriented with technology. As you know, you've been in the casino, and a lot of you've been in the casino. One of the main things that they want to do is to be able to have the customer go down into the casino. They don't want you in the rooms. They don't want you milling around. And so
That's right.
when anyone goes to conventions in the other city, they do not go to casinos. They go to a hotel that's more put together for the customer to be able to utilize all of the technology and be able to have all the access for convention. So we were, I started looking at it. I started looking at how the conventions were put together. One of the things that we noticed right off the bat was most of the conventions are 4 days. And then let's say it's 100,000 people come in. Well, we started asking the question, why is it that a customer comes in on the first day and they're gone by the second day? It's a 4-day convention. And so if you look at the maturation when they come over a 4-day period of time, they come in 100, then after it's 35, 40, then there's nothing there. Yeah. So we said, well, why? So we had to ask the question. So one of the things is that the connectivity for technology is not there. They can't work. So if I meet you at a booth, I get your information, where am I going to work? Where am I now going to take you and then now start to trying to do business and trying to connect?
Exactly.
I have to take you back to a hotel where there's noisy restaurants. I got to take you up to the room, which is neither is a good alternative, especially for women. And so what we said, we need to put together a convention hotel that could convert into a situation that can be able to work on weekends for events. And so what we've put together with IBM is that we've put together the most advanced technology, hotel in
With
Las Vegas.
IBM, the IBM.
Yeah, with IBM. Yeah, all of the groups that we have that's working on the project, all Fortune 500. And so since we are one block away now, and we're non-gaming, we make ourselves more attractive because now people are not in Las Vegas, they're not used to Las Vegas. When they send their customers, where are they going to send them at? They're going to send them to the hotel that has all the connectivity. We have video conferencing. We have boardrooms that they can go and work.
It'll be productive 4 days.
Productive 4 days.
You don't fall off.
Yes. And then so instead of just one day and leaving, now they can come in. I get a contact with you. Next day I meet Mr. Wright. I can meet other people like this, whatever. Expand the time that they're there. Expand the time that they're staying in the hotel. Expand the time that they're spending all together. And so now they can be able to come and be more productive. And so that puts us in a situation, a league of our own. And that, as you know, and Lonnie knows, there's two things from the aspect of operations of the hotels, not the gaming aspect. It's conventions in the middle of the week and it's events on the weekends. So by that, now we make ourselves more attractive. We're close to the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Definitely.
And then on the weekend, now we went out and the county commission decided they were going to do two arenas. We were the first ones to announce that we were going to do an arena on the Las Vegas Strip. MGM came in after us, and they went ahead and did theirs and opened. They've been very successful.
Yes.
Ours were, we just didn't want to do a hotel. What we wanted to do is put something together along with the arena and make it where it's a pre and post types of atmosphere that can be integrated in for the customer, and then we can be able to work with the other events. So we designed it as a situation in which you can be able to come early, and we have 400,000 square feet of retail, food and beverage retail that we have there, or shop before, and then also afterwards. And so we have 2,500 rooms in our hotel, 2,000 what we call convention style, and the 500 is a 5-star hotel.
Like suites or.
Yes, on our 5-star hotel, the net room size is
This
700.
is the boutique component of
Yes,
what you're talking about.
this is 5. It's 700 square feet.
Jackie, you mentioned the other arenas. What about MSG, Madison Square?
Yeah.
How's that?
Well, the difference is that our arena is along with the MGM's arena is the only ones that can do everything.
Okay.
Multi-purpose.
Multi-purpose. They're strictly, I'm going to call it concerts and things of that nature. We can do the same thing that the MGM. We can do fights, MMA,
You can,
basketball,
yes, exactly.
all the other things that that we can. So we don't look at it and see as that we are a rival in that aspect.
Let me ask you this. In terms of financing, when you make that pitch, to use that term, to the people that you're looking to finance, do you get any pushback or questions about what? No gaming? No gaming in Las Vegas?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest obstacles that we had to do. First of all, when we started off, there was no mention of sports, especially professional sports on the Las Vegas Strip.
Well, that's true. That was
And then-
pre all of them.
And then no gaming. And so my shock was that when I was on Wall Street, that how can I say it, much they didn't know on how Las Vegas works. And so when we were trying to go through the process of educate them on that, they said that is not where the revenue is going, and that's where not the revenue, the stability is at. It's in these other aspects. It took us quite a while.
I want to share something, and Mr. Robinson was right on point, because Las Vegas started off the gambling capital of the world, and then when Las Vegas started proliferating throughout the United States, starting with the East Coast and the Bible Belt, they changed it to the gaming capital of the world. And then when they came up with this idea of going after the monies from 8 to 80, from the piggy bank to the pension plan, with Circus,
Yes.
it became the entertainment capital of the world. And so Mr. Robinson is right on point, because right now we're the sports and entertainment capital of the world. So you were way ahead of the time. And then, speaking of the casino, points of sale revenue has eclipsed the casino dollar. In other words,
flipped.
where you go and eat, entertainment. Now a lot of the hotels have shops where you go shopping.
Retail, yes.
Yep.
It has changed. And then you also have to understand that Mr. Robinson is catering to a entirely different generation, than when Vegas started off in 1932, and then the Great Generation, and then the baby boomers.
Yes.
And guess what? We're baby boomers.
Yes, I know, brother.
We're dying out. He's going
not
after
far
the
behind.
future. He's got the future money.
Yeah.
He's got the future money. So your plan and your vision was right on time, because Vegas, using our name of our program, Las Vegas Hospitality Evolution,
Yes.
has evolved. And the ones that you were around a bunch of visionaries with Mr. Wynn, when you see visions and you can project in the future that you're going to be catering to a different generation. The people that you're going to be catering to, they're going to be more tech savvy than our generation.
Yes.
And now the millennials, they have eclipsed
Yes.
At one time the baby boomers was the largest generation. Now the millennials have eclipsed.
Yes.
And guess what? One of the psychographics of millennials, they don't like to gamble.
No.
They don't like to gamble like the baby boomers.
Lonnie, I'm going to call you Dr. Wright.
Don't call me my nickname, man.
That's what I want to hear.
No.
Well, Lonnie, you're absolutely correct, and that's what we were saying we're going to do. We have to look for the future, because when we grew up and when you're in hospitality, you have a guy that would you come in at 8 o'clock at night and he's at a gaming table. And he's sitting there, and you come back at 7 o'clock in the morning. That guy would still be there with an ash hanging off of the cigarette.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
Perfect picture.
Yeah, and so I can't mention what hotel. I had a gentleman that came over and said, "Jackie, why don't you come over and I want you to tell me what's going on, with our hotel, because we're not getting the gamers, whatever." And then, so we're sitting down there, and we're watching, and then, I'm looking at a bunch of young people. They're having fun, and they're gambling a little bit, whatever. But when 10 o'clock came and the nightclub came over, and the young ladies started walking through, those guys grabbed their stuff, and they left, immediately. And so they understand odds and things like this. They have all the computers. They understand that that's not what they want. They want events. Mm-hmm. They want something that they can envision, and they'll invest their dollars in that, rather than going into something that they feel that's
giving them money.
So they get nothing for it. So
are you saying they were a lot smarter than the baby boomers?
Well, yes, absolutely.
When it comes to gaming, and just giving your money away.
Exactly. And so what we're looking to create is that experience. So what we've done is that, besides one of the things that I was going back to when I was in New York when we were visiting Wall Street, I'll tell the story about how I came up. Everybody asked me how did I come up with wrapping. I was the first one to come up with the visionary to come up with wrapping LED around it. It wasn't the other guys.
It wasn't MG, but the Madison Square.
No. I can say that 100% on this situation here. If you go back and look at our initial in 2000, I think it was 12 when we came out. That's one of the things we had. But what happened was when I moved over, and I was staying in Times Square. We were going to meet with some banks. Mm-hmm. And I was looking down. I was like, geez, man, all of these people. When you go to Times Square, you see all these people that's there. So being from Las Vegas, you said, must be a show. And if you look on the street there, they have bleachers. So I said, it's got to be a show. At 7 o'clock, I'm going to go down and sit down. I'm going to sit down and watch the show. Because what other reason why all these people are in Times Square? So I'm sitting there. 8 o'clock comes. No show. So I said, well, maybe this is New York, never sleep. So 9 o'clock comes, there's no show. And so it dawned on me at that time that all of these people, they're on Times Square, because if you look at this, all of these LEDs up and down Times Square.
That was the show.
The Great White Way.
That's it. And so we have contracted with the group they're called Translux that runs all of those LEDs on Times Square, and then so we decided to wrap our entire arena with LED.
Oh.
And so what that does is that now it puts it where we have an energy going on, even when there's not anything going in the arena. So you still have an experience in and out, so that you can be able to attract people. Because one of the things that when you have an arena, when there's nothing going on, it's just a piece of steel.
You
And
totally.
it's
You can combine that with music.
Yes.
The visual.
Yeah.
You got it.
So what it does for us now is that it allows us to have a Times Square.
Mm-hmm.
So we can be able, there's nothing on the Las Vegas Strip than where you have events that you can be able to hold. Inside of our area, which we call Victory Plaza, which we were the first one to come up with Plaza.
Okay.
Again, okay, which there's other plazas now, but we came up with
Yes,
that again.
yes.
And so what that allows us to do for such events such as Christmas, we can be able to put on great Christmas shows because we have these huge LEDs that are like 120 feet from ground to floor LEDs, so we can be able to bring in the great experiences that we can bring in choirs and other people like this, whatever, and orchestras out there, and be able to produce these type of shows for Cinco de Mayo, for
All of those.
sure, all of the things for like Chinese New Year's. I mean, the only thing you have with Chinese New Year's now, they dance around with a dragon in the casino, and that's it. So for us now, we're going to be putting on for the week, the entire week. And so we'll be able to scream to China, and if you're sitting in our Victory Plaza, you can see the events going over there, and they can see the events going on here. And so that brings in more, not only that, it brings in more of the residents, because we'll do it for Cinco de Mayo.
Yes.
We'll do it for New Year's and other things like this.
Jackie, is this program laid out in the public right now? I mean, the things that you're talking about. Because I would be, if I'm at Resorts World Las Vegas listening to you, I'm going, man, this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it has been, and I had some meeting with a couple of the CEOs once they saw what we were doing.
Yes.
They asked us to move our project. We said we're satisfied where we are. That was a great compliment. They're a great organization, but we decided we want to stay where we are. Because I think that, and the same thing, NASCAR and also the Formula cars have also approached us too. Because when NASCAR comes to town, they drive up and down the strip and burn rubber. But where do they have to come place to display and have gatherings? They don't have any on the strip. Mm-hmm. So they like our situation that we have, because in that Victory Plaza area, it's the size of a football field. So we can do a lot of events. So even when there's nothing going in the side of the arena, it allows us to do that.
Outside.
And Dr. Peacock, what this idea, this concept that Mr. Robinson is talking about, it's kind of proven itself in the frontal marketing with your friend Steve Wynn.
Yes.
They had the volcano, and they had
Pirates.
the pirates. Then you go and they have the fountains, and none of those places you could go and get entertained for free. You didn't have to pay for anything. But what did the people think of? If this is going on the outside, what's on the inside?
Yeah.
And so when they saw the volcano, I give you a good example, when they saw the pirate show at the Treasure Island, part of the verbiage at the end of the pirate show, because they kept saying that it was an adventure. Mm-hmm. Then it says, and the adventure continues, and the doors open up, and the people walk in like robots. Well, I'm going in, right? And so I believe that same chemistry is going to happen for you when people can just see something, and it's sensational, and it draws them.
Right.
Now they're on your property, and they're going to go into the property.
Yeah.
Well, for the events that we're talking about, all these events, I mean, somebody's got to be, the guy or gal who signs these contracts with entertainers and stuff like that. How's that?
We're also talking to Las Vegas Events and other people around here that, want to bring other venues, because in some of the aspects of some of the events right now, and I won't say the name because of, but some of the arenas are old and antiquated. So now we're starting to lose those, because we don't have the facilities to be able to do so. In addition to that, we are doing a 60,000 square foot production studio. And so we've been meeting with the state of Nevada. They're very excited about it because I think you already know that Los Angeles is crowded, it's expensive.
Hollywood is moving to Vegas.
Moving to Vegas and going to Texas, going to other places to getting out of there. So by us providing something that's just not a studio in the middle of nowhere,
right? By
having hotel rooms, retail, all the other things you have there, it provides for a great opportunity. So we have Mr. Roy Hamilton. Was the senior vice president of Fox Sports. He's won 6 Emmy Awards. He is the head and director of our production studio. So we have all of the people we have, or have all the Fortune 500, all of the parties and people that we're working with, and currently they're working on it right now. We have about 60 or 70 people currently that are from Elizabeth Blau, who worked for Steve Wynn.
Oh, yes, I know.
She's doing our food and beverage. Randy Aguilar, who was the head over at the Forum Shops, is doing our retail. And our president was the former vice president over at Board Gaming.
This is a team.
Yeah.
We could bring them in here,
it's
Dr.
called
Ray.
a dream team.
Yeah, but we could bring some of them in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would. Well, this is not. I hope this is not our only interview with you,
Yes.
Jackie,
God,
because
no, yeah.
your property is going to be. It's going to change the strip.
Yeah.
It's going to fit right in with the psychographics of millennials and the future.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this: when I saw the name of your arena. Can you share the name of your arena with our audience?
Where that came from? Are we talking about the all?
Yeah,
I like it. It makes me think. I don't want to jump the gun now.
I don't either.
But,
I know.
But let's. Will you unveil the name of your arena?
Yeah, it's All Net Resort and Arena, and so we came up with 2 reasons besides that. Is
All nets.
All net from the basketball aspect,
Right.
And then the other one is because of technology. Because if you look at it, you have net as well.
Oh, I didn't make
and
that
so,
connect. Yes, I'm thinking strictly basketball, but it isn't.
So we said we put the combination together. When somebody looks at us, whatever, we want them to come and see the innovation of technology for the millennials, and then also from All Net, having basketball background and things of that nature. We thought it would be a good catchy name that everybody would remember. So we thought we just named a corporation with that, and then so they said, well, let's come up with a name. I said, I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it. That's something that people will remember and know and be very easy to
On the
do.
basketball side, now, all the Las Vegans are really excited about sports and entertainment capital of the world. Now we have, the Las Vegas Raiders and we have our hockey team.
Golden Knights.
Now, I want to ask you something. Is it possible? Have you been talking about it? Or can you divulge this?
Yeah.
About an NBA team in Las Vegas, and it would be an optimum fit for them to be at the All Net Arena.
Sure would.
Well, Lonnie, you've played basketball and you're a great basketball player yourself, and you know this area as well. And everybody knows, including the NBA, knows this is a basketball city. I mean, as well as the other sports have done well, but this is basketball. I think, in my humble opinion, that there isn't an arena ready right now for that. There are certain conditions that you do have to have in order to be what do you call it, NBA ready.
Approved, yeah.
And so what we did is that we hired SKS, which is the certified engineers for the NBA arenas. They've done Jerry's World.
Oh my gosh! Okay, good. Yes.
They've done the football stadium in Los Angeles, and they also are doing the one, I believe,
The
of
SoHi.
new arena. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And they're doing the arena, I think, for that the Clippers are getting ready to do.
Yes.
They've done. They are the kings of.
Okay.
And so they're our structural engineers, and so we've already have had several talks with several people there on laying out the arena so it can be acceptable from the standpoint of site, because it's different from hockey and basketball from the sites. So we laid out we went all the way through the lighting, and then also what we've done in our plan, we've also put in a practice facility, a workout facility, offices, all of those things is up under there that can be able to do. And one of the things that we did that we thought, because again, solving 2 problems, if you come to our arena, As you know, we are walking up and down in Las Vegas, you're trying to get in, turn in and out of any of these places to go any places. You got to fight through traffic. What we did is on our sidewalk, we did flyover. The traffic comes under, it flies over, so it never gets intertwined with the foot traffic going and turning into the arena.
Trying to get through the pedestrian.
Trying to get through exactly. And then the other thing we did is that all of our parking and all the loading is underneath.
My goodness.
So what happens is, why that is so important is when you're in the middle of the summer and it's 115 degrees outside, and now you're trying to set up for a production on blacktop, which a lot of facilities here have to do. It is almost impossible. When you go underneath 40 feet and it's 115 up there, it's 80, 75 underneath. So for us, we made sure that just not only having a great looking arena, but it functions. Yeah. And so in the summertime, wintertime, it is all up on this climate control.
So parking will be underneath.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure the engineers have tested the soil, makeup, and all that, because that's going down. But that's what Singapore does. Everything's underground.
Yeah. We're very fortunate. We've already have gotten and done all of those. We've done those, and so we don't have a lot of caliche. We have clay, and so what's going to do is we have to expand our pillars and the foundations so that we can be able to do so, because we don't have the bedrock that can go on top of it, but we do have a clay. But again, we'd rather have that than have, as you know, caliche. And they're trying to fight through that situation.
Mandalay had issues with and had to redo things.
And going back to the conventions and location, I can only think of one hotel that is just as close to the convention center as you are, and that's the.
Well, you get the Westgate.
The Westgate,
which is literally attached.
But you can throw a rock from your facility. Yeah. You got to have a good arm. Yeah. But only a block. Yeah, only a block. It's only a block.
But you've got the Sahara next door, and you've got now the new one, the Fontainebleau, which is now awesome. Bill Richards, who built the Mandalay and the Luxor, is going to be involved in refurbishing that and bringing that up. That's where your location is.
Yes. And we're hopeful that something across the street, we think there's an opportunity. If something happens there, we won't say now, goes across, it's just. That would be a cherry on the cake. But we think that's, in my opinion, is the most likely place that it should go. And I think it would be a great opportunity. So that'll increase the foot traffic.
My goodness. The north end of the strip is
the new Las Vegas.
Coming on.
It's
time.
It's the new Las Vegas.
Yes,
and it has to be a situation that we innovate, because we can't. I mean, and I think, Lonnie said it great about the millennials, because now they're trying to change the slot machines to be them like video games and things like this.
Look at them today.
Because you can't. And so with us, we're going to have those places where they can be able to do them. We want to see if we can. We've been contacted already by those video game groups or whatever that say they want to hold their finals in our place, because one, with the LEDs, and then we have the only retractable roof in all of North America, probably in the world, that has a retractable roof. And so for that, it's a situation that be able to provide for us to be able to provide a spectacular show.
Yes.
And then also be able to do other different types of things. Like you talked about motocross and big trucks and all these type of things like this. Well, you can't do them in arenas, because I went there. My son loves that situation, and we went to one of those where they had the big trucks, and in an hour we had to leave because there's no ventilation. But this allows us to be able to go back and do the concerts up under stars, boxing up under under stars, so many other things, and then also bring some spectacular pyrotechnics, to the area as well. So it gives us an opportunity to do a lot of things. Tennis classics, we're looking to do tennis classics and bring back like this. Yeah.
My goodness.
I wanna talk a little more about your innovative attributes that you're gonna have for your customers, the amenities that you're going to have for your customers. A wonderful look at your swimming pool, and can you give us
Yeah.
why and how you set your swimming pool. It's not a normal swimming pool.
Yeah.
You know, it's. I don't think there's anything normal about any of your amenities.
No, not so
They're,
far,
they're,
yeah.
they're up to date. They're state of the art, and that's where the other hotels are going to have a real hard time trying to catch up with your technology, because people they're going to know where they want to go to feel comfortable with the amenities and in lieu of not having them. But if you can share about your swimming pool.
Yeah. Well, we actually have 5 pools. We're going to have a day beach out in front, like which everyone else has. We have a family pool.
Mr. Robinson, slow down now. You said day beach.
Yeah.
With sand?
Well, we're not going to have sand,
waves.
but we're going to have sand because that's very hard to get off with. We tried to look at that, but we thought that tracking the sand in, it'd be an issue.
It'd be a problem.
But it would have a sand-like type of texture as far as that. But it'll have all of the, all of the amenities that you have, and you have the DJs and things like this out there for all of those young guys, not like us.
Yes.
And then we have a family pool that's over on the convention side, so we can be able to have things for the families when they come in as well. And then we have a pool that's right outside the 5-star hotel. It's a private pool. But the one Mr. Wright is talking about is that what we have is you have an infinity edge pool that's on top on the 43rd floor that overlooks the whole city, and it also overlooks the arena. And then we also have an area there that for lunch you can be able to serve lunch, but at night it is a jazz club, and the jazz where you have the restaurants, that those doors can be able to be expanded all the way back, so you have an open air scenario. And we have an area there where we want to bring some of the top jazz artists that you'll be able to have there, so you can be, it's a supper club, so you can be able to eat, you can overlook the whole strip, like back in the day with Top of the Dunes.
There you go.
But also it's indoor, outdoor.
Well,
and then the
a
daytime it's
similar
infinity pool.
concept is the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore.
That's exactly
with their
right.
very famous infinity pool. I can see this becoming
Yes.
an iconic pool where everybody's got to go to.
Yes.
Somehow.
Exactly. And that's what everybody says, and everybody's, even from any of the investors, they love it. They just said this is
pool
nothing like
is
it in the
just
United States.
Awesome.
This is almost an incredible story that you can put this on 27 acres.
Yes.
I mean, there's not going to be a square inch.
Yeah. No, it's not. 8 million square feet. So 8 million square feet. But I want to go back to one thing that you said, Lonnie, going back to Steve, where I got some ideas from. I was sitting there and having a conversation with Steve Wynn, and he was telling me, he said, Jackie, he said, you know what? He said, I created something on the Las Vegas Strip where people come in and they would look at the shows. But after the shows, I would only get 20% of the people, the other people walk away.
That's exactly right.
And so he said, if you notice from the Wynn now, he has a big mountain up in front. If you want to come in, you got to come inside. And see. So I took that, and before he opened the Wynn, he walked me in the middle of the casino, and he took me and said, turn in the 360-degree range. And so in every place in 360 degrees, there's revenue. So when you sit in front of our what we call our Victory Plaza, when you turn 300, it's revenue.
Every
movie theaters, it's retail, it's pools, it's nightclubs, all the things. So when you sit there, it's a center of energy.
Yeah.
And so you got to come in to see it, though. You got to come and see the LEDs with the arena and some of the other shows we have and things of that nature. So it draws people in, and once they get in, now
it's all a revenue.
Here. It's spontaneous purchasing and buying and things of that nature.
Nice.
So we did, take a lot of the lessons I got from Steve Wynn and applied a lot of them to this project.
The things that work and the things that can be improved on.
Exactly, and that's exactly right.
I not to go back, but my thinking is this. Jackie, where did this entrepreneur gene come from in you? I mean, you were a player, an athlete. All of a sudden, you're one of the top entrepreneurs in this city.
Yeah.
How did that come?
Well, let's say this, when they just told us this yesterday. Well, first of all, we're very proud and happy that we were the first African Americans to ever get approved on the Las Vegas Strip.
Yes.
Minority, and we're the largest minority project in the history of the United States.
Historical.
And then our financial advisors told us that, Jackie, not only are you that, this is the largest private project since resorts was open in United States right now. Yeah. So it is history making from every aspect. But going back to that, when Lonnie and I played basketball, I grew up in South Central Los Angeles.
I know, Inglewood.
Yep. And so you get up and go to work. You don't see entrepreneurs or anything else. And so we were on the plane going to a game my freshman year. And so this gentleman is sitting there in the seat. And so he goes to one game. And then now he's flying with us in the middle of the week. And I said, well, where I came from, you were either, in a poor state where you're on welfare, or you worked every day, and that's
9
what you
to 5.
You couldn't. So I asked the athletic director, I was sitting there and said, what does that gentleman do? He said, that gentleman there is Mr. Earl Malasky. He owns where you go to school at, all of
the land,
everything else, whatever, and everything else, whatever. And I said, that's what I'm with, because he has freedom.
Yes.
He doesn't have to be bound to anything, whatever. He's in control of his own self. And I started from that aspect, and I started, and I failed to mention him as well. I start, going to those people. I didn't ask, I just wanted to know. If you take me in and let me know what you know, and I can ask questions, whatever. And that sparked off a gene, because I always knew because I had two older brothers. They were great basketball players. One, my brother that's older than me, he was a 2-time college All-American, 2-time high school All-American, and he blew his knee out playing 1 year in Florida, and it's over with. My older brother played at Arizona State, so this wasn't a situation where you can count on this situation. So wanted to do something. When I saw that, the lights went off in my head. And my whole focus with that from that point on was to become an entrepreneur.
And Jackie, you're so right. Some of our boosters that used to hang around the team, if you were smart like Jackie, you would go and talk to these guys.
Absorb, listen.
I mean, think about a lot of the guys that were around us when we would travel, and they had the entrepreneur type of careers that they could travel with the team. And back then, to get a ticket at the Thomas and Mack or the convention center was the hardest ticket in town, and it was sought after from the governor's office on down to go see the running
Gucci Row.
Gucci Row. Yeah. Gucci Row was where all the movers and shakers were.
But that even brings me back. You mentioned your brothers. Inglewood. Yeah, Morning High School.
Morningside.
Morningside High School, but all over Los Angeles.
I'm from Southern California, Jackie, and I want to know how you got out, how they let you get out to go to my favorite school at that time was UCLA.
Yeah. Well, I was recruited by UCLA as well.
Yes.
My mother was an influence on it. We knew the Tarkanian family because my brother played for him.
At Long Beach?
At Long Beach.
Okay, that's where I went, yeah.
My mother actually took the trip here. I'll just tell you a quick story.
Yes.
My mother was a Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ. If you don't know what that is, they're very stark, conservative religious.
Yes.
And
he was Pentecostal until he started ruling.
No,
I'm just kidding.
This is destiny, I've told you.
Yeah. And so anyway, so my mom came in. I just thought this was going to be a visit. I knew it was a favor to the Tarkanians because he had just got the job. Because I was actually the first recruit to sign here at UNLV. So my mom,
All-American.
Yeah, and my mom came here, and I went and did the showy stuff, and my mother went with Lois Tarkanian, and they went around to see the city because she wanted to see the city and talk to people. And so when she came back, the only thing she could say about the people in Los, she just kept saying the people. The people, son, the people.
Thank goodness.
And she was just, couldn't believe the people here in Las Vegas and what it was. And so I was supposed to go back, and I was going to make a decision of going to several different schools. That was UCLA, Cal, Berkeley, Kansas State. I was going to, USC. And then what happened is my mom said, son, you need to go here. He said, because the people here in Las Vegas is going to be something special beyond basketball. And so that night we made the decision on that based upon my mother's recommendation, and then she was absolutely 100% right.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Bless her.
And I want to talk about your NBA career.
Yeah.
Because in the NBA, you still, if you're paying attention, you can still learn. I heard someone, I think it was Chris Rock, I could be wrong. He says, Shaq is rich, but I want to know who's the guy that's cutting the check for Shaq. That's who I want to be like. Now, when you were in the NBA, did you see anything, or did that help foster your vision for the All-Net Arena? Or
Yeah, it did. I was fortunate enough to be able. I got drafted by Houston. They had 14 no-cut contracts. I was only a rookie. They tried to trade, they couldn't. They let me go, and then I got picked up, fortunately, by Seattle SuperSonics. And it's a gentleman that we're friends today. We talk every probably once a week. His name's Fred Brown, downtown Fred Brown. We're very close today. We won a World Championship, and we developed a friendship. But Fred was always a professional. He was always professional, held himself. Matter of fact, he's working on an arena also in Seattle, so we talk all the time to each other.
Yes.
And so he and Dr. J handled themselves in a different way from the standpoint of being interviewed, held themselves as professionals and looking beyond basketball. And I saw that. Now, on the inside, as far as the arena is concerned, and where ours different, where we have the retractable roof, and I'll go over this as the last thing, because there's so many things to the aspect to the project.
Yes.
But what we've done is that I ask myself all the time, most arenas have their boxes 30 rows up.
Yes.
And they're small and they're way away from it. Where you look at our arena, our suites are 1,100 square feet.
Huge.
And what that does, and it's only 20 rows up, so it's the best seats in the house.
So you're closer to the action. You're not.
So what that does is, if the person that owns that suite now can put anything he wants into it, they can put a bar, they can put a pool table, they can put whatever they want into entertain. Now, we're in the entertainment capital of the world. Now, you can put up to 40 people in one of our suites. So now you have players, now you can bring them into the suites. You can serve them caviar, champagne, and whatever you want before an event, and any entertainment. And if it's a business aspect, rather than sitting there saying that you're in this suite and you can't see the game and anything else, whatever, you have an opportunity to be able to mingle. Plus, they have the bleacher seats. You want to sit in the bleacher seats? You can sit in the bleacher seats attached to the suite and do that. But if not, if I want to talk at halftime or come before, I can entertain, talk, and it's perfect for, we thought, an ideal situation for a hotel, because I can keep all my players together.
I can see major strip hotels buying a suite.
Yes.
Well, because you're not in competition in gaming.
Yeah, we're not in competition with gaming, and so therefore, there's no other suites like this in the United States. Where and for basketball, you're only about 5 rows higher than the backboard, so you got the best seats in the house.
Yeah.
For fights, you're like about 5 rows up on the ring. So now you can be able to mingle. You can be able to bring all your players in. You can be able to keep them together.
Yes.
And so we're really excited about that. And everybody that saw these, and so what we're doing is that if they come in and do a long-term lease of 10, then we'll let them come in and bring their own designers in, and to design it with all of their logos and all the things they want. If they want to have their own bar, like I said, a pool table. Whatever they want to have in there to be able to entertain their guests.
My goodness.
So we're really happy in the response that we've gotten. And there's many other things. If I had more time to talk about,
Jackie, when do you sleep? When do you sleep?
Not much.
That's what I'm thinking. This is 24/7.
Not much. Because some of our equity players are some very large car dealerships is over in Seoul, Korea. We have several groups that we're involved with and financing that's over in Europe. And then we have New York and here, so it's around the clock type of situation. So you sleep where you can.
You did exactly. You get a call from Middle East or wherever, and you got it.
Yes, but we're very happy, and the thing we're happy about is that the state getting involved with the financing. We're looking to use revenue bonds from the state of Nevada. We're also, the county's been working with us. I think that they just finished and declaring the north end of the Strip a redevelopment area, which allows us for certain financing. And then also we signed agreements right now with the Culinary and the Teamsters Union, and then also the Builders and Trade Unions as well. And so I've met with them face to face. Yes.
This is going to be a union operation.
You know, when the Great Moulin Rouge lasted for 6 months, and it was an integrated hotel, but people of color, African Americans, would go and be a part of it. You know, on the Strip, you had the group called the Rat Pack, which was Sinatra and a lot of the guys that we would go and see when we were playing ball.
Yes.
You know, I can almost envision, because of the historical the historicalness of your property, that African Americans will embrace that property,
Without question.
and I believe that there could be a new Rat Pack that could be Jay-Z and Beyonce and all of those guys could be your new Rat Pack at your facility.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking about the Rat Pack that would cater to the millennials, the Z's, and the X's.
That's entertainment.
Well,
yes,
not
yeah.
the Z's, but the X's.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when I was a young kid, you would go down the strip and they would say Sammy. You knew who it was.
Yeah.
Without
You it would say
Frank.
Frank, and you knew who it was.
Mm-hmm.
I can envision
Well,
some names like that on your in that beautiful with all the lights, one name.
Yep.
And I believe you're if I know you've already thought about having another Rat Pack, man, to add to Vegas, you know, but a whole new cast of characters.
You got to add to the list here of the iconic developers in this city.
Yeah.
Steve Wynn.
Yeah.
Kirk Kerkorian.
Yeah.
Sheldon Adelson.
Yeah.
Jackie, I don't want to jump ahead of things, but there's going to be a Jackie Robinson in that.
I believe
group.
that.
I
believe
that's
that.
it.
Yeah.
I believe that.
I believe it.
Well, the good thing
I
about
don't
it,
mean, yeah.
no, but Ms. King, you're absolutely right, and then I'm gonna get back to what Lonnie said, is that you know, everybody says, well, how are you going to raise $4.2 billion? And I said, well, listen, if I would be concerned if somebody said that your project stinks and it's not a good project. I have not had one person anywhere around the world. They said this is nothing like this is in the United States. This is, you know, over the top. It's going to bring, you know, not over here in Las Vegas, but properties all over, how they rethink developing projects all over the United States.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And the greatest compliment they gave me, they said the only place you can see something like this or close to it is in Dubai. And so that was a great compliment to us, whatever. But getting back to your point, because all the points he's hitting there, he understands. Because going back to that situation, when you're in the Strip, back at that point, you had a lot of, you know, African Americans that headlined on the Strip. We don't get these residents, as far as African Americans on the Las Vegas Strip, nearly as much anymore. And the Hispanic community as well came over to me and embraced it. I mean, you can't believe from the standpoint of every time I run into some African Americans or either Hispanics, I mean, really, it's just overwhelming when they come in and say, please, or thank you so much for what you're doing. Because it's hope, because this is the first iconic project in the United States for the history of any you know, minorities that there is. There's no other, you know, minorities, whether Hispanic or African American, that own any type of arenas or any type of iconic properties. So for them, and being in Las Vegas on top of it is something that, but Lonnie, you got it absolutely right. Because now what we're able to do is we can get the diversity because we control, because we have a showroom. We have a showroom, you know, 3,000 feet dinner showroom.
Yes,
Going back to
the old days, yeah.
Man, that's vintage Vegas.
Yeah, and then we have the arena, and so we control the product that's going in there. So we're going to make sure there's diversity: white, black, Asian,
yes.
You know, Hispanic, everyone. So it represents what Las Vegas is all about and what we are. So that gives us a lot of latitude.
Are you going back to the dinner show? Are you going back to not the canned music, but maybe live music?
Yeah, we're going back to live music, and that's why we have the production studio that we have in there, because you know, we're going back to the live music like Las Vegas used to be.
Used to be, and you know, when they started doing canned music and got rid of the musicians union, it is something when you try to explain to young people the experience of going not only to see a headliner, but to watch the strings and the percussions and
the sound.
But watching them produce it.
Exactly.
I used to get captivated by watching the conductor and the strings. And it is something to you know, the young people don't have that vintage Vegas.
No.
I love that you're bringing it back.
Well, one of the things that's happening, I came up with the idea because I went to go see Dinah Ross at the Wynn Hotel,
Yes.
So I want to get the aisle seat because I got long legs and my wife's sitting next to me. But when I got there, now it's a guy with a red shirt on, a rope chain, and he's got a beard, and then we're dressed in, so I had to sit her over on the corner, and I had to sit inside. You see, because you don't have any control on what you do and what's happening in the way you see it right now. In addition to that, what a lot of people are tired of is that if you go to a show, you have to go eat. So the first thing you do is sit down at a restaurant, right? And what do you tell the waitress? I got a show.
Hurry.
I got a show in an hour and a half. Can you hurry? So now you do that. Now you're running over, trying to get to the show, get in there in time, and then now you get in there. You don't know who you're going to be sitting next to. So what we're going back as a dinner show, and you have to have a collar. And it is dinner downstairs. And if you want to sit upstairs, we got them. So you can sit up there if you want.
It's casual.
But the people down there that want to come in, because there's a lot of people in Las Vegas, even the younger people, want to go someplace and dress up. And the thing that showed me that I'm right again, and I'm not trying to say I'm a genius, but now you're starting to see more supper clubs opening up. The Wynn Hotels opened up a supper club. Bellagio's opened up a supper club. It's going back to that because people want to be pampered. They want to be taken care of.
Yes.
Not just herded in.
And they want to experience what their parents experienced about. They heard their parents talk about Vegas and how people were dressed to the nines, and they want to do that.
Yes.
And they want to experience that.
Yes.
And so now you're bringing back vintage Las Vegas with the 5-star.
With the new.
Now, are you going to have maitre d's?
Yes, we are.
That's wonderful.
We're going to have maitre d's. We are going to have maitre d's. We're going back to that situation. We're not going to the usher situation. So we're going to be able to do that. I've been working with Elizabeth now, formulating a situation that we can have it where, because back in the day you had two shows. Now you're going to have one show, and so where we can be able to do it. Our showroom is we're looking at. We know it's going to be 3,000. We're trying to get in it. If we can get to 3,500, we want to do that. But it's going to be somewhere in that neighborhood, and so we know, and we tested it out. And people, it's much less confusion and irritation to come and see a show, going in and fight and get in the parking lot, run into, and then you hurry up and eat and whatever. You run across the casino to get there. So
you've done it all.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to tell our listening audience, if you have enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe and hit like. We are talking about the evolution of hospitality here in Las Vegas, and no one but the incomparable Jackie Robinson is going to make history, as you've heard, and you will be able to see some of the films that we're talking about. But I want to thank you, Jackie, for being here. And we were so excited about you coming. We came a day early. We came a day early. I called up Jackie. I said, "Man, where are you?" He said, "Man, look at your email. It's tomorrow." But we were so excited about having you here. But we had a production meeting. Talking about the things that we wanted to get out of this interview, and I just hope that nothing but the best for you. I want to be there for the grand opening, God willing. I want to be there for the grand opening. That's going to be awesome.
We're going to need you for updates before that.
No, that's not a problem. Anytime,
absolutely. We would like you to come back for
Jackie,
updates.
This has been inspirational.
Yes.
And I'm not throwing that out there. Business-wise and all that, good.
Yes.
It's something I feel good.
Inspired by.
Yes.
Inspired by. And Vegas is one of those towns that if you get a visionary like a Jackie Robinson or Steve Wynn or some of the other visionaries, that's what makes this town go. And this whole project of of us reliving the evolution of hospitality here in Las Vegas is having people like yourself, Jackie, to be a part of this.
Yeah, no. We talked about the iconic figures. Mm-hmm. We love the corporations, yeah, okay, but 5, 6, 7 of those gentlemen have done it, and you're moving into an arena.
Put him right in there.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having Mr. Robinson to come back, and hopefully we'll be able to share with our audience the grand opening, we'll have our cameras there if you allow us.
Absolutely.
We'll have our cameras there to show you a bird's eye view of something going back to what we said from the beginning, a change agent, making
you.
changes.
What a
Thank you.
great-
Thank you
what a
so
great-
much,
And thank
Mr.
you,
Robertson.
thank both of you gentlemen too, because you guys have been trailblazers and leaders. And listen, I've learned a lot about being around you guys, and you've been inspiration to me as well. So thank you also for what you've done for this city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
The most famous desert in the world is about to blow your mind again. But this time, we're changing the game. The exclusive club of owners on the Las Vegas Strip will soon make room at their table, not just for a new owner, but a self-made man from Inglewood, California, a world champion. The time has come for the first world-class resort of its kind on the Las Vegas Strip. Welcome to All Net Resort and Arena. 2 luxury hotels, a breathtaking 3,000-seat dinner showroom, an entertainment and sports arena under an unmatched retractable roof. All Net Resort and Arena will be the world's sporting event destination with something for everyone. From premier luxury suites to breathtaking designed rooms for the value-minded guests. You'll be steps away from your favorite entertainment event. Or treat yourself at one of our exclusive retail shops. Enjoy our spectacular rooftop dining, 5-star luxury spa, and lavish infinity pools and cabanas in a tropical setting. It's a resort for tomorrow's lifestyle today, using advanced technology to provide patrons with a curated, personalized experience throughout their stay. We're combining your favorite sporting events with your favorite entertainment to provide you with an unforgettable experience. All Net Resort and Arena is a revolutionary, non-gaming, business, and family-friendly destination with something for everyone.
Hi, I'm Jackie Robinson. In 1979, I became an NBA champion. Come join me on this journey as I get ready to do it again.
All Net Resort and Arena, a world-class sporting and entertainment destination for all.